The show must go on. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast of The Ordinary Maverick. This is Ajay, your host, an ordinary maverick, sharing real life thoughts and experiences and maverick tips. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, please do so, and you'll not miss another episode. In true maverick spirit, today's podcast focuses on the phrase, the show must go on. This is a phrase in show business, meaning that regardless of what happens, whatever show has been planned still has to be staged for the waiting patrons. So, where did this come from? Seems there are some historical stories on its origin. When a circus performer got injured performing their death defying or otherwise demanding act, or when an animal got loose, supposedly the ringmaster and the band would keep the entertainment going so that the crowd wouldn't worry and panic, and thus the expression was born. Another story is that this expression was a theatrical credo dating from the 1800s, where it was used in the context that no matter what unfortunate event occurred, the performance must continue. It got transferred to other situations in the first half of the 1900s. One also sees reference to this in the Henry IV Part 1, Play Out the Play, as written by Shakespeare. It started getting used in the industries too, like the hotel and hospitality, by saying the hotel business is like a theater. No matter what happens, the show must go on. In the English dictionaries, this is an idiom and is explained as saying to encourage someone to continue with what they are doing, even if they are experiencing difficulties. And of course, many of you will be familiar with the song The Show Must Go On by Queen, one of my all-time favorite bands, featured as the 12th and final track on their 1991 album Innuendo. The song takes us through the efforts of Freddie Mercury, who continued to perform despite approaching the end of his life. It's interesting how this saying is so apt for the entertainment world or any similar outwardly facing industry like the hotels, etc., where one has a responsibility of sorts to the people who come to watch a show or stay at your hotel. It's something, I guess, that just grows inside you. I have to admit, ever since I've been putting together this podcast along with my family, we kind of have, this same strong pull. The show must go on. Let me share something. Last week was a crazy one for us. We are a family of 4, and 2 of us were traveling overseas and in the skies in different parts of the world, one flying east and one flying west at the same time. And then we were all preparing for the upcoming big travel of our 2 dogs, who were going to separately embark on a big adventure traveling halfway across the world. There were a zillion things to be done all at the same time. More on that experience in another podcast. Believe me, it was quite something. Well, all of a sudden, I fall ill with an acute pain episode. You know how it is? Right just when you think nothing else can happen, something does. It was something like that. Without warning, I have this severe pain attack and have to act. My wife and daughter, who were in the air at this time, thankfully were connected with air Wi-Fi, so coordination was easy. Luckily, all the resilience we have built over the years as a family, living in different places and being practical, led us to set up things at home where our dogs were, as they would be alone. And I drove to the hospital past midnight, bizarre as it may sound. I did manage to get myself admitted in the ER and get an IV drip going for the pain. And as soon as I was relieved of the pain and feeling much better, of course, I made my way home. Further tests were advised while I was there, but I couldn't wait. So after doing a LAMA, do you know what a LAMA is? LAMA. It's, left against medical advice. Coming from a medico and paramedico background, I was fine with doing it. Although I do not recommend anyone from doing the same. Fellow Mavericks, please always follow the correct medical guidance. In any case, I got back home, and just as one says, the show must go on. I managed to record the last episode, which was the 78th one, and posted it online. As I shared earlier, I am familiar with the phrase, but haven't experienced this so close to my heart. I can now relate to the strong feelings one has in responsibility of putting something out there, especially in showbiz, where you know that people are out there watching, listening, getting engaged, and possibly waiting for the entertainment piece. It's perhaps what's kept us going too with this podcast series. That, in spite of all the shifts, travels, moves, etc., the show must go on. I used to hear this phrase often from my mother in law, who established her own theatre group in India many years back. The group had several productions and performed across various cities, with Mumbai being the base. Well, the show must go on was an unwritten rule and mission across the theatre world. I recall one performance where the lead actor was stuck in traffic and unable to reach the theatre venue in time. In keeping with the tradition of starting the show on time, a snap decision was taken 20 minutes before showtime. Another person in the group was asked to take on this role and start the show. With no prep whatsoever, the person stepped in, and the entire cast of the show, including the backstage folks, all rallied around this actor to help and support him. He had the script open backstage and would prepare before going on the stage, understanding the acts and the cues. The actual actor turned up 15 minutes late, but by then the show had started on time. And he then worked closely with the actor who was on stage, helping him do full justice to the performance. It's a testament to how well the actor who stepped in, as well as the rest of the cast that handled that show, that the audience never realized there had been this calamity and the last minute switch. The actor got a standing ovation at the end of the show once this was shared, and everyone was surprised that there had been an emergency step in. My mother-in-law and the members of the group often recount stories and events that took place unexpectedly, but where cover-ups and or alternatives were found to ensure that the show continued. There is a learning here, my Maverick friends. It is said that life is a stage and we are all but actors in it for a particular period of time. Well, remember that the show must go on. Never mind how tough it gets or how hopeless it all seems. Just hang on and believe in the thought, and the energy that is generated actually does pull you along. Each of us has reserves that we may not quite be aware unless called upon. Recapping the Maverick formula and the third component of falling forward, that's what it is. As they say, continue on your journey and the path will appear. We have seen this time and again. Solutions are there if one but looks. Which brings another aspect in mind, commitment. If you do look a little deeply, why does one have this strong pull of ensuring that the show must go on? It's to do with commitment at its peak. You can only take a thing through if there is commitment, or else it will fall apart. Theatre teaches you that commitment. I have seen performances where there are only a few people in the audience. The show tickets just didn't sell. Well, regardless, the entire performance is done as if the theatre is full. One performs, and the show must go on. My wife grew up with theatre, and that love of theatre has been transmitted and is so alive in all of us, including our daughters. We always catch live performances whenever, wherever we get a chance. And believe you me, no two performances of the same show are the same. I got to see theatre more closely after meeting my wife, and some aspects have stayed with me, which include commitment as well as the criticality of perspectives and the confidence and conviction in getting out of your comfort zone. As one does readings of the different plays, You step into different characters and are almost forced to understand different perspectives, which is invaluable in life. You also develop confidence in facing audiences and conviction in stepping out of your comfort zone and pushing the boundaries. We have seen this with our daughters. Our younger one was just 11 years old and confidently carried the role of a master of ceremonies on a professional stage in front of a very high profile audience, and it actually kind of surprised all of us. And our elder one does the performance with grace and confidence at 12 years of age. It doesn't come easy though, and for both my wife and I, it's been a learning of sorts. So here are some tips as a maverick parent. Go to the theater often with kids and let them get exposed from a very young age. Sign them up for any theater workshops and opportunities. Sometimes we are quite focused on academia and miss the enormous value that theater can bring to our overall development as we grow and take our place in the world. And yes, go watch a theater performance as often as you can. I'm sure you'll feel the spirit of the, show must go on in every show you see. Do keep writing your comments and sharing your feedback at theordinarymaverick@gmail.com and follow me on Instagram, #theordinarymaverick. I love hearing from you. This is Ajay signing off and wishing you have an amazing day and a super amazing year. Keep well, stay safe. Credits. This podcast series was put together as a team effort from the Bhardwaj family. Concept, design, title, researchers and reviewers: Ajay, Sanjana, Avantika and Niharika Bhardwaj. Script, Sanjana. Cover design, Niharika. All rights reserved.